La 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 la, wait till I get my money right.
Azan, it is Tommy Laren, and hey, listen, I have been told that you are a liberal, far-left, communist, but you don't live like it. You just got a new Porsche. Now listen, that sounds kind of capitalist to me.
Hasan made another purchase. Let's go, team. All right. What are we in trouble for now? Are people actually mad about Hasan the car? I'll share my thoughts briefly. Let's go.
Oh shit. La,
Yeah.
La la la, wait till I get my money right.
Whoa. Don't you copyright me. Okay, he's in the car. He's too big for the car, clearly. You saying something is what the song says. He really is too big for that car.
You can't tell me nothing.
You can't tell him nothing. Okay, phenomenal. Okay, very good. Yes, he's a large man. And by the way, sports cars tend to be a bit on the small side from my experience. Okay, let's get the priors out of the way. Are people mad about this? Yes. Does their anger matter? No. Will a bunch of people who combined have less clout than Hasan spend months talking about this to absolutely no outcome effect whatsoever? And will the same thing happen again in 6 months when he buys a yacht? Yes and yes, respectively. Are we going to talk about this? Yes. So to bring out the prior, okay, and I don't know how many times I need to say this, but to make my position perfectly clear, I don't care if wealthy socialists buy wealthy people things. I just don't. I'm sorry. You can argue they could spend their money better, and then I could argue that it's rain that's falling on your face, not my piss. I just don't care. The reason why I don't care isn't because I feel like Hasan has it too hard already. I feel like people should make his life a lot harder. I feel like people should ask and demand way more of him. But the purchases that wealthy socialists make is just not the avenue through which I think it's appropriate to make criticisms of them outside of, I guess, some exceptionally heinous shit. I'd have to think. Like, I guess if he got a private jet, I would... Yeah, I'd say that's pretty... Yeah, because that's like several tiers beyond. But maybe it's just an arbitrary line. At the end of the day, I don't care that much. NFTs, that wouldn't be bad because of the money thing. That'd be bad for other things. Yeah, next is the private jet, whatever. Why is a private jet worse than this? You can't think of a few things? Let me move on. Anyway, anyway, I don't care. In practice, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I've also objectively proved this with the many arguments that I've had, none of which I lost and ever will lose. That generally speaking, the argument that a person is a fake socialist because they have too much money or spend too much money is a ubiquitous, non-falsifiable criticism made by bad faith actors as a way of dragging people who they otherwise don't have criticisms for. See AOC, see Bernie Sanders, for whom conservatives were absolutely delighted at his third house because it allowed them to critique the 9,000-year-old guy who sold a book a couple years ago and had like 3 like normal sized houses, one of which he inherited, one of which was like a tiny little lakeside cabin, you know? But did that matter to Republicans? No, it didn't. They treated him like he was fucking King Leopold. They treated him like he was Tsar Alexander. They treated him like he was fucking Louis the 14th, you know? If you normalize or like even engage with this whole like it is wealth shaming, but like wealth shaming equals socialist hypocrisy, then I'm going to start calling out all liberals who take advantage of any tax breaks because they believe that taxes should be higher because Trump lowered them. Therefore, if they list anything as a deductible, they're deliberately robbing the government of money that they believe they should have access to anyway. I don't care. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. Let's talk policy, baby. That's enough defending Hasan. Let's go to what I wanted to do, which is attack Hasan. I really dislike what he's done here. Not because of the car that he's bought, not because of the price of the car, not because of anything like that. I really, really, really dislike conspicuous consumption. So for those of you who don't know the term, I guess the term is kind of self-explanatory because it means what its component words mean. Conspicuous consumption is the practice of buying things, consuming products in a manner which demands attention. You're doing so for the sake of bringing about that attention. He didn't have any control of this. It's a shitpost via fan. I'm pretty sure this is his editor, and he retweeted it. So no. Yeah. The problem with conspicuous consumption, the reason why I care about it specifically, you mean flexing? Let's just say flexing. Let's use proper language here, okay? The reason why I dislike wealth flexing, okay, is because right now, in America specifically, but in the world broadly, there's an issue largely adjacent to capitalism. And that is the idea that personal fulfillment can be found and identities can be created. He literally parked in a handicap space that's to generate clicks. Okay, let's just get rid of this now so people in chat can stop being annoying. Doing this ironically doesn't mean you're not doing the thing, okay? An ironic engagement in conspicuous consumption isn't going to change the overall outcome, okay? Please, just move forward, okay? Please. I think the point of the flex is that it was aimed to piss off the haters rather than show wealth. Piss off the haters by doing what exactly? Have you guys ever watched a Rice Gum video or a Logan or Jake Paul video or like any other big like YouTuber? They wealth flex constantly to own the haters. Now, Hasan's not doing exactly the same thing as them because Ostenox isn't Hasan's editor. Oh my god, Purple Maggot. The thing says Hasan's editor. I know they do. Chat! Stop! I suppose it was debate outrage. We know! Oh my god! You aren't smarter than me, you stupid fucks. You watch Hasan. You think you're better than me? You watch Hasan. Holy shit. You come to me, to my gigabrain, to my fucking mother empire brain, the tendrils of which stretch down beneath the core of the fucking planet. You're like, have you considered that it's a deliberate way of making people angry and in relation to the fact that people got mad at him for his helper? Really? Wow, you believe in temporal relationships. You think maybe Hasan's behavior now is motivated by things that have happened in the past? Do you think possibly this is some way of expanding upon prior behavior? Shut up! Holy shit! Jesus Christ! So as I was saying, the issue with conspicuous consumption, or flexing, as I said before, is that one of the ways in which consumerism has been broadly promoted in the United States specifically, but in the world broadly, it's, I think, uniquely bad here in the United States, is the idea that the consumption of products can allow a person to build their identity, and it can allow a person to build their self-worth. So the classic example of this, what was the movie that was made after Get Out by the same director, and they were like comparing SUV sizes in the suburbs? A classic example of Us, that's right. It's such an easy name to remember. A classic example of this. This is, by the way, such a classic example that this is like parodied in cartoons. Do you guys know the idea of like the two suburban neighbors who will like compete with each other to have the more expensive thing, like the nicer car, and they'll like run up credit card debts because like if they have this car, we should have this thing. Yeah, they Ned Flanders was a joke on this in The Simpsons. Dinkelberg, the neighbor, was a joke on this in Fairly Odd Parents. This is like a constant thing, okay? Now, the issue is the ties of conspicuous consumption are essentially ubiquitous and they affect everyone. This isn't just a thing that affects capitalists. If you're watching this right now, or if you're speaking this right now, I'm speaking currently right now, you are affected by cultural biases that conspicuous consumption prompts us to engage in. Boss, you're overthinking it, dude. Just let Hasan have some fun. I love it when people engage in anti-intellectualism and don't even let like basic levels of analysis like get through because they're so desperate to defend their parasocial daddy. I would be embarrassed if people in my community acted like this L-size. People in my community, when they hear criticism coming out from other people, they're usually rapturously interested. They're like, they're like, oh, well, let's hear this out. Maybe we like it, maybe we don't, but at least we'll listen to the point. Christ. This isn't a severe condemnation of Hasan. This isn't a fucking cancellation. It's something to think about, okay? So work. Less time typing, more time thinking. I know you can't do both at the same time. Everyone is affected by the biases inscribed in us as a product of conspicuous consumption being culturally prioritized, okay? And I say this as a person who is, and I swear to God, not very materialistic, okay? You can tell, all right? I make a decent amount of money. I wear the same anime t-shirts that I get from cons or just like from online shop orders that I like. I wear the same pair of shorts every stream. This is a 7th-month long short stream shorts. Washed frequently, I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't have much of an intrinsic desire to flex wealth, but don't I? I really like expensive guns, custom made, gold engravings. Do I like those things because they're beautiful exclusively, or do I like them because it's a status symbol? If you're holding a gun with gold engraving on black metal and an ivory handle, you're showing everyone that not only do you have, well, depending on your taste, good taste, but also that you have the money to buy good taste, right? That's a little something, isn't it? Even those of you who aren't particularly materialistic, have you never felt that urge, if you had money to do so, or just wanted the money to do so, this belief that there's some item, maybe it was a car, maybe it was a particular item of clothing, something, a watch, a ring, and when you looked at it in the store, when you thought about it, there was something about it that was alluring outside of its appearance or utility. There was an allure which was brought about by its price tag and the fantasy of being able to have something like that. This is something which I think most people have experienced with some things, some to degrees more than others. I think that if most people engaged in a sufficient degree of introspection, they would realize that the perception of worth associated with conspicuous consumption has influenced their taste to some extent. It's almost like it's completely ubiquitous. It's almost impossible to avoid. The association between wealth and quality, the association between good taste and wealth, these are things that are, they're not, like, this is more ingrained into our culture than almost any other element of socialization, because it's necessary for fueling our economy. The belief that it's somehow better, somehow identity forming to consume products that are expensive or at the very least noteworthy is something that motivates a lot of behavior. And if you guys think that you're immune to conspicuous consumption because you don't tend to like roll the high money bits, I guarantee you guys that you've engaged in non-wealth-based conspicuous consumption. You ever felt like you got to represent your identity through a commodity that you purchased? Like, say, for example, the kind of person who would wear anime t-shirts as a way of representing their non-hegemonic attitudes towards certain cultural affects. It doesn't have to be pernicious. It is ubiquitous. All of us. A pride flag. Exactly. Isn't that funny? You think you're going to buy queer acceptance by giving like $17 to your local flag store? Don't be silly. What, you bought that off Amazon? Ah, yes, queer acceptance. Because of your Amazon Prime purchase. No, this is an inescapable problem, okay? Sometimes, however, it's expressed in ways which are more pernicious than others, which is why I bring us back to Hasan's, yee-yee-ass haircut, as they say, and the car he's trying to stuff it into. The reason I take issue with this is because, and let me preface this, because I know you guys are all busting at the seams. Let me preface this. Yes, I understand it's ironic. No, I don't think this makes him a bad socialist. No, I don't think this makes him a bad person. Yes, I understand that a lot of this is done as a deliberate effort to engage attention. None of that negates anything that I'm saying. I think that the way this video was laid out was the meta-ironic adoption of cultural signifiers that are normally considered kind of pastiche by people on the left. Essentially, I want to be able to do the big YouTuber, big money, flex video about my new Porsche, but I want to do it ironically and in a way which indicates that I'm aware of the backlash it's going to receive. I want to do it but self-aware. But doing something in a self-aware fashion doesn't mean you're not doing it. It just means you're doing it in a self-aware fashion. And by the way, guys, like, you all want to do this too. There are so many problematic archetypes that you have seen in media, whether it be flaunting wealth, money, power, status, and you've thought, you know, so do you? Yeah? Why are you acting defensive? I acknowledge that, of course, obviously. I hate cars. We're not talking about cars, please. Chat. When you're looking at, you know, the flaunting of wealth or of commodities, of signifiers, power, you know, sexual attention, I'd be willing to bet that a lot of you understand how open flaunts of these things are, like, really dumb and bad, but you kind of want, like, the cool, self-aware version of those flaunts, okay? A good example of this would be people who would roll their eyes at the stereotype of a Bond-esque male protagonist who has their arms around two cocktail waitresses, you know? But nonetheless, idealize having, say, for example, based on what you fuckers are always going on about on Twitter, like a queer polycule where some, like, Chad non-binary person has their arms around two, like, hot trans girls. In effect, you're doing the same thing with regards to your relationship to the signifiers that you're presenting, but you're doing it in a way which is subversive to the broader cultural hegemony, of course, being gender non-conforming. But it's the same logic, isn't it? Like, yeah, it is, okay? I know a lot of you guys, you know, there are things that you would cringe at if done straight-facedly, but you kind of like the idea of doing it, you know, a little more in a more self-aware way. Power fantasies are a good example of this as well. The common power fantasy you see in your average, like, stupid AAA summer blockbuster movie of, like, some guy who's, like, really sweaty and he's, like, you know, beefing it out with a bunch of dudes or whatever. Like, you understand, this is silly, you know, this is sort of almost patronizing or whatever. But guys, I'm not stupid. I know you want to be the cool anime girl in the anime OP where she teleports and uses a rapier to cut, like, ribbons of fabric out of reality and then uses them to cast spells. I'm not stupid. I know you want that to happen. I know you want that. You want the power fantasy. You just want it in a way which is more culturally sensible, more self-aware, more deviant from traditional expectation. And to all the brilliant wizards in chat who keep saying no to every example I provide, thank you so much for willfully avoiding the point every single time. You truly are the exception to the rule. You're so smart. Everyone else here understood what we were going for, but you, in your brilliant, your brilliant countercultural, anti-authoritarian, rebellious way, you have managed to demonstrate your unique nature by being uniquely fucking retarded and incapable of following what I'm saying or engaging with the points. Thank you. You're special in every imaginable way, explicit and implicit. Shut the fuck up. So to bring this all around, I should have known I'd be fighting with chat over this because it was a fucking Hasan bit, and I have to ask a little bit from chat. I have to ask them to engage with the concept rather than just telling you guys what to believe, but fine, sure, okay. The point is that we're subject to these beliefs in some form or another. That is how cultural biases work. It's the same version of me saying, as I have many times before, that all of us have within us ingrained elements of sexist cultural indoctrination, and the fight is to overcome those to the greatest possible extent, not to pretend that you were never affected by them, because that's delusional. Moving past all of that, please, at the end of the day, there are going to be people who watch Hasan's video for whom the effect of this video is identical to the effect that a rice gum, Ferrari reveal video would be to his fans, okay? There are going to be people, it's not Hasan's video. What? Who do you think? Who's this? Who's this person? Did they not think there was a camera? What? Did Hasan just do this surreptitiously? Is this candid? Was this a deep fake? What do you mean it's not Hasan's video? Did he not notice the person filming? Christ! Ban mods. Ban All of them. Every one of them. Ban every one of them. All of them. Permanently. Ban them. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. God. Jesus. God. There are going to be people, as evidenced by the dipshits in chat, who have bad thoughts as a product of this video. There are going to be people who watch this, and even though there are other elements of irony for them to appreciate, they're going to see this, and it's going to be something that is very common online, which is a flex from a wealthy YouTuber, one which explicitly demonstrates the value associated with wealth and conspicuous consumption. You can't argue your way around that, folks. Irony doesn't undo that, you know? That's like saying that, that's like saying so many things. Language limits me. If I could just telepathically communicate with every one of you and kill you instantly with the severity of my thoughts. Again, for like the fourth time, none of this means that he's a bad socialist, but I thought you all would enjoy. Let's end this with some positivity, okay? Who here understands that this isn't about canceling anyone, and this is just something to think about how the ironic adoption of signifiers associated with conspicuous consumption can end up replicating those systems, you know, even if there's like an overlying level of irony, you know? That's the criticism that I have, okay? Now, it's not a cancel because people do drama, and I know you fucks are going to, when this gets posted as a video, you're going to go to Hasan, check out this video, Vash, debate Vash epically owned you. And then Hasan's going to talk to his chat about how he doesn't want to debate anyone. And then he's going to think, because of you guys is talking about it, as though I epically owned him, that I was like a video entirely criticized. But you know, the real loser from these videos, okay, is chat. As always, you guys are at the absolute fucking bottom of the barrel. Okay, congratulations. You are the scum at the bottom of the pond in this instance. Thank you. God damn it, Bosh, are you embarrassed of us? Sometimes, I wish you would follow my point a little bit. You know what I mean? The idea that ironic adoption of signifiers associated with otherwise pernicious behavior can sometimes be harmful is something we talk about all the time on this channel. And additionally, the acknowledgement that B, the cultural biases brought about by conspicuous consumption are essentially omnipresent and affect all of us to some extent or another, should again be pretty universal. I don't think that's controversial. I don't even think I delivered this information in a way that was particularly like challenging, but I suppose there are people in here who were under the impression that I thought that what Hasan was doing was identical to just some dumb YouTube show-off thing, which isn't the case. There is an ironic meta-commentary there that just doesn't invalidate the points that I was making. Do you understand? Okay, all right. Let's not belabor the point. I love you all very much. It's okay. In reality, I was yelling at maybe an incredibly marginal fraction of chat. But I had fun doing it. Thank you. This was I hope mutually enjoyable. I got some voice training, some good exercise.